Pirate Blue liked feeling the warm golden sun on her face. Ah, do you feel the warm sun on your face too? And Blue loved listening to the calming waves that washed ashore on Pirate Panda Island. All of a sudden, Pirate Blue could hear someone paddling ashore. This someone was black and white, big and furry, with small, round ears. Yo ho ho! It was Pirate Panda Polly, the cuddliest pirate panda in all the high seas.
Oh. Ahoy, Pirate Blue! I really need your help. I can't find me missing blankie treasure, and I can't fall asleep without it.
The treasure was buried somewhere deep on Pirate Panda Island, so there was only one thing to do.
We gotta go on a treasure hunt. But avast! A mighty wind be about to blow.
Pirate Panda Polly and Pirate Blue hurried off on their treasure hunt as the strong winds blew them all the way to a big, leafy palm tree swaying in the wind. Can you feel the wind blowing too?
X marks the spot. Could our treasure be buried under this tree? Let's dig, dig, dig so we can see. Heave! Oh! Heave! Oh! Heave! Oh!
They found a great big treasure chest. Was it Pirate Polly's blankie treasure?
Oh no! It's only a musical treasure. Yo ho ho ho.
Pirate Panda Polly and Pirate Blue were getting very sleepy, but Polly couldn't fall asleep without her blankie treasure. Then they heard something off in the distance.
Maybe our treasure's buried near the waterfall. Hop into me boat, me mateys.
They hopped into Polly's boat and paddled over to the waterfall.
Weigh anchor and paddle away. Faster, faster, we mustn't delay. Paddle, paddle, paddle faster.
Pirate Panda Polly and Pirate Blue paddled as fast as they could until they made it to land near the misting waterfall. Can you feel the mist too?
Land ho! Could our treasure be buried under these rocks? Let's dig, dig, dig for our treasure box. Heave! Oh! Heave! Oh! Heave! Oh!
They found a great big treasure chest. Was it Pirate Polly's blankie treasure?
Oh no! It's only a treasure chest filled with cuddly stuffies. Yo ho!
Pirate Panda Polly and Pirate Blue were getting even sleepier. But still, Polly couldn't fall asleep without her blankie treasure. So they continued on in their hunt for treasure.
Yo ho ho!
And just then, they saw a crab walking across the sand.
Maybe our treasure's buried near that crab. Onward, matey, across the sand.
So Pirate Blue and Pirate Panda Polly walked through the nice warm sand as it squeezed between their toes.
Could our treasure be buried deep in the sand? Let's dig, dig, dig. We can use our hands. Heave! Oh! Heave! Oh! Heave! Oh!
And they found a great big treasure chest. Was it Pirate Polly's blankie treasure? Yes, it was. One soft, cozy pirate blankie for Pirate Panda Polly. Blue turned to tell Polly that she had found her blankie treasure. But Pirate Panda Polly was fast asleep, cuddled up on the warm, cozy sand. So Blue took the cozy blankie and wrapped Polly up nice and tight. Then she snuggled up right beside Pirate Polly and fell asleep too, cuddled together under the blankie treasure. On a faraway hill lived a lot of little monsters. Oogle Boogle was the cutest little monster of all.
Oogle Boogle!
He was short, round, and purple as could be, with one tiny tooth.
Oogle Boogle!
Oogle Boogle loved to play in the mud. The mud was thick and slimy, on his toes, on his fingers, and even on his head. It was just the way Oogle Boogle liked it.
Oogle Boogle! Mud, 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 mud.
As the sun was beginning to set, Oogle Boogle eagerly scurried back inside his home for bedtime.
It's Oogle Boogle story time! Yeah!
Story time was Oogle Boogle's favorite, but it wasn't story time just yet. Blue needed to get Oogle Boogle all cleaned off and ready for bed.
Not story time.
Before story time, it was bath time.
Oogle Boogle! It's time to take a bath!
Blue helped Oogle Boogle into the bubbly bath. He splished and he splashed as Blue helped scrub all the mud off little Oogle Boogle.
Oogle Boogle! Scrub, scrub! Oogle Boogle! Scrub, scrub, scrub!
Oogle Boogle hopped out of the tub and shook himself off, wiggling his silly little arms and legs until he was dry. Oogle Boogle was sure he knew what time it was now.
It's Oogle Boogle story time! Yeah! Not story time.
Before story time, Oogle Boogle had to put on his pajamas. And fuzzy purple monster pajamas were Oogle Boogle's favorite.
Oogle Boogle, it's pajama time! Yeah!
Blue helped Oogle Boogle get into his fuzzy monster pajamas. Left arm, then right leg, then left leg, then right arm. 'Cause that's how this silly little monster liked to get dressed.
Oogle Boogle, snuggle, snug, snug! Oogle Boogle, snuggle, snug, snug!
Oogle Boogle was so cozy in his fuzzy pajamas that he started to feel sleepy.
Oogle Boogle!
Oogle Boogle was sure he knew what time it was now.
It's Oogle Boogle story time! Yeah.
Bow, 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 bow.
Oh, not story time.
It was time to brush teeth.
Bow, 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 bow.
And Oogle Boogle only had one little monster tooth to brush.
Ah! Oogle Boogle! It's time to brush my tooth. Ah!
Blue helped Oogle Boogle brush his little tooth with an itty-bitty toothbrush that made silly noises as he brushed. Do you hear those silly toothbrush sounds?
Oogle Boogle, brush, brush, brush. Oogle Boogle, brush, brush, brush.
Oogle Boogle smiled the biggest smile he could muster. As he looked himself proudly in the mirror, he was positive he knew what time it was now.
It's Oogle Boogle story time! Yeah!
It was finally time for Blue to read Oogle Boogle's favorite bedtime story.
Oogle Boogle, it's story time!
Oogle Boogle climbed into his monster bed, which was bouncy as could be.
Woohoo! Yeah, all right.
And Blue read him his favorite bedtime story.
A monster in the bed, a monster on my head. A monster in the mud, a muddy monster's my best bud.
Oogle Boogle was starting to get very sleepy.
Ah! Oogle Boogle, again! A monster in the bed, a monster on my head. A monster in the mud, a muddy monster's my best bud. Oogle Boogle.
And just like that, Oogle Boogle fell fast asleep. Monsters are the fastest sleepers ever. Blue turned off the lights, gave Oogle Boogle a kiss goodnight, and wished him sweet, silly monster dreams.
Bow, 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 bow.
Oogle Boogle.
There were dinosaurs as far as the eye could see, each with a great, big, thunderous roar. The mighty Blue Rex had the most magnificent roar of all. Listen. But there was one little dinosaur who wasn't quite as big or quite as loud as the others. Her name was Stella, and she was the cutest baby triceratops in the land of the dinosaurs. She had 3 little horns on her head and 4 tiny feet that made itty-bitty stomps. Stella wanted to roar like her friend Blue Rex more than anything else.
I can do it. I can do it. Yeah.
No matter how hard Stella tried, she couldn't roar like her friend Blue Rex could. But that wasn't going to stop her. One day, Stella and her friend Blue Rex heard,
"Munch, munch, roar! Munch, munch, roar!"
So they stomped on over to see who it was. It was the T-Rexes, all munching on their lunch together. They were big and tall, towering above the trees. Stella asked the T-Rex,
How do you roar, dinosaur?
"We munch, munch, roar! Munch, munch, roar!"
So Stella munched too and tried to roar just like the T-Rexes.
Munch, munch, reap. Munch, munch, reap.
But still she couldn't roar.
Yeah.
So Blue Rex told her to keep on trying. If she practiced and practiced, she'd find her roar. That's when they heard,
"Splish, splash, roar! A splish, splash, roar!"
So they stomped on over to see who it was. It was the Spinosaurus dinosaurs, all playing together in the water. They had big sails on their backs to splish and to splash. Stella asked,
How do you roar, Dinosaur?
We splish splash roar. We splish splash roar.
So Stella splished and she splashed with all her might and tried to roar just like the Spinosaurus.
Splish, splash, reap! Splish, splash, reap!
But still she couldn't roar. Blue Rex told her to keep on trying. If she practiced and practiced, she'd find her roar. That's when they heard,
Flap, flap, roar! Flap, flap, roar!
so they stomped on over to see who it was. It was the pterodactyls, all flying around the tip-top of a mountain. They had long wings and massive beaks. Stella asked,
How do you roar, Dinosaur?
We flap flap roar. Flap flap roar.
So Stella flapped her arms as hard as she could and tried to roar just like the pterodactyls.
Flap, flap, eep! Flap, flap, eep!
But she still couldn't roar. And now it was getting dark, and Stella was starting to feel sleepy from such a long day of munching and splashing and flapping.
I'm sleepy.
Bow, bow, bow.
Stella and Blue Rex went home and cuddled up in their bed of leaves, nestled inside a giant dino footprint. Stella asked Blue Rex,
Why must my roar take so long? Where could it be?
And like always, Blue Rex assured her that if she kept practicing and practicing, she'd find her roar. She could keep practicing tomorrow. So Stella closed her eyes and took some deep dino breaths. Knowing that tomorrow was a brand new day, and maybe she'd find her roar then.
Bow, bow.
Good night, Blue Rex.
Stella was so sleepy she couldn't help but yawn. But instead of a yawn, a roar came out.
I roared! I did it! I really did it!
Bow, bow.
Sure enough, Stella had roared for the very first time. Her friend Blue Rex was so proud of her.
Bow, bow, bow.
And so Stella went to sleep with a smile on her face and a big roar waiting to come out again tomorrow. The end.
You can ask your parents to subscribe to Nick Jr.'s Blues Clues and You YouTube channel for new videos every week.